Hey guys, welcome back. So for a while now, I've been wanting to cover the return of Thaddeus Ross, the Red Hulk, because I feel like we've covered everything around this, and up until now, there hasn't been like a video or a playlist where I tied everything together and explained how Thaddeus Ross returned from the dead, with an asterisk. So with that said, if you're enjoying these videos, be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell up top to get all notifications. Alright, so to start this out, we gotta go back to Hulk Volume 3, written by Jerry Duggan, back when we were introduced to Bruce's Doc Green Hulk persona, who wanted to cure all the other Hulks, or more or less depower them. And so around this time, the Doc Green persona had came about after Bruce was shot in the head, and Tony used Extremis to heal Bruce's brain. And during Original Sin, we had the whole thing where Bruce found out about Tony being involved with the Gamma Bomb, followed by Bruce finding proof of it being true. So this led to Bruce increasing his Extremis dosage, with Extremis being a programming language for humans, so Bruce wanted to use this to become the Hulk while still keeping his full intelligence. And with the help of Tony's stepbrother, Arno Stark, they coded the Extremis to pull this off, even though Arno wasn't fully aware of what Bruce was doing. But this ended up producing a Hulk with all of Bruce's intelligence and memories, who wanted revenge against Tony Stark, only for us to find out in the next issue that Bruce had been misguided this whole time, and Tony wasn't responsible for creating the Hulk, and instead it was more so the case of Bruce's negligence. But going forward, this Extremis enhanced version of the Hulk, who's also equipped with Bruce's intelligence and his memories, he took on the name Doc Green, and it wasn't long before he came to the conclusion that all gamma weapons have gotta go, which then led to him more or less going on a tour of depowering different Hulks, like Rick Jones, Betty Ross, and in Betty's case it was really messed up, cause Doc Green had Rick Jones slip the cure, air quotes, in her food, so she didn't know until it was already done. And this tour included others like his son Scar, and of course none other than Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, the Red Hulk. But Doc Green's attempt to depower the Red Hulk, it didn't go so well the first time, cause Doc Green thought he was just gonna beat him down and have the syringe airdropped from a drone, inject Thaddeus Ross with the cure and call it a day, only for Thaddeus to kick things into a higher gear that Doc Green just couldn't match, leaving him to take the L. So after this, Doc Green made sure to be better prepared for the next go round. So he went to Danny Rand to learn new fighting techniques. And I don't mean becoming an Iron Fist or nothing like that, just some fighting moves. And mainly because in addition to Thaddeus Ross being a Hulk, he's military trained. So Doc Green needed to catch up in that area. But in addition to General Ross being a better fighter, as the Red Hulk he also has the advantage of being able to absorb radiation and get stronger. Albeit until he overheats, but when you can fight like him, you usually don't need long. So as a solution for this, Doc reached out to Deadpool, and he gave him a bullet that would deliver a special compound that would temporarily interfere with Ross's ability to absorb radiation and get stronger. And with doing this, he gave Deadpool the instruction that he needed to either hit Ross in the eye or the ear. And for motivation, he told Deadpool that if he misses, he'll tell Ross that he betrayed him, while also mentioning that Ross will be unstoppable at that. Which, you know, looking back, that was a really good motivational speech, because when it came time for Deadpool to take that shot, he wasn't joking no more. He was focused and he hit his target. So from here, with the Red Hulk not able to absorb radiation or get stronger, this gave Doc Green the leverage he needed to defeat Ross and inject him with the serum. And after this, we would see Ross again in The Fallen issue 1 for Civil War 2, because at this point, after Bruce was killed by Hawkeye, which was Bruce's request, because Bruce told him if he ever hulked out again, he wanted Clint to take the shot, and he even gave him a special arrow to do so. And with how this played out at the time, Clint, he beat the case, he was acquitted of all charges, but after Bruce's death, Betty Ross went to see her father, Thunderbolt Ross, in a classified military prison, where at this point Betty was coming to visit, in hopes of getting some type of comfort or fatherly concern, but at the time, she found neither. And after this, when we jump forward to the 2018 Captain America series, written by Ta-Nehisi Coates, it's here where we get the return of the Red Hulk. Because in this story, which is based heavily on the aftermath of Secret Empire, we jump in to find Thaddeus Ross has been paroled for leading a cell of resistors against Hydra. Because after Secret Empire, there's a whole program that allowed resistors to get a clean start, like Bucky Barnes for example. And in the case of Thaddeus Ross, he was brought in by the president, who wanted someone with experience to clean things up and also keep an eye on Cap, who again, no one trusted after Secret Empire. And aside from this, you have other players in this story like Alexa Lukin, who's got a lot of stuff going on, with her resurrecting her late husband, Alexander Lukin, with the help of Selene, which in turn brought back the Red Skull. But this was something she wasn't aware of until it was too late. But her motives led to her using the Power Elite like puppets on a string, even though they were supposed to be a group that would restore America back to what it used to be prior to Secret Empire. So because of this, things got a bit messy, with it leading to Alexa Lukin framing Steve Rogers for the murder of Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. And part of this had to do with Thaddeus Ross already being suspicious of Alexa, which led to him sending Sharon Carter on a secret mission that pretty much dropped Sharon in Alexa's lap. And even though Steve was able to make his way to Sharon after defeating Taskmaster, this led him to believe that Thaddeus Ross had set her up, which in the larger picture was all the motive that was really needed to put together a convincing case of why Steve Rogers would kill Thaddeus Ross. Which once again wasn't that hard at this time because it's right after Secret Empire and no one trusts Captain America anyway. So after this, following the supposed death of Thunderbolt Ross, and I mean I'm throwing air quotes all over that, for a moment here we then jump over to Absolute Carnage. Because if you guys remember, when we covered Absolute Carnage in Immortal Hulk, for a brief moment we saw the body of Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. Because it was also around this time where we had Carnage digging up the bodies of any and everyone who ever had a codex, which got really messy really fast. And in addition to this, in Al Ewing's Immortal Hulk, we're briefly shown the dug up grave of Thaddeus Ross, which at the time, with everything that was going on in Absolute Carnage, as well as Al Ewing's Immortal Hulk, it made it seem like we're gonna get a moment where Thaddeus Ross was just gonna walk through the green door and return from the dead that way, but instead we got something very different, because when we go back to the 2018 Captain America series, which at this point is now 14 issues later, we find Black Widow taking Misty Knight and Peggy Carter. And oh yeah, side note, Peggy Carter came back in this series too, but this ain't her video. But no, it was here at this time where Black Widow revealed to Misty Knight and Peggy Carter that Thaddeus Ross was still alive. And with how this played out, it's really one of those things where it just made everything that happened between issues 6 and 20, both in this series and outside of this series, one great big huge misdirect to sell the whole idea of Thaddeus Ross actually being dead, only for us to find out that he pulled this off by using a life model decoy, and he wanted the world to continue to believe that he was dead so he could just lay low in Madripoor and help the Daughters of Liberty, who are also helping Captain America. And the team up following this reveal, it doesn't last too long, because after this they all end up getting captured by the Power Elite, which in the larger picture also goes on to reveal how much more the Red Skull has taken over Alexander Lukin. And really it was from here where everything popped off, because after the Daughters of Liberty and Thaddeus Ross were captured, you of course had Cap, Bucky, Sharon, Falcon, and the others coming to save him. But during that time when Thaddeus Ross was being tortured by Crossbones, Thaddeus Ross made sure that Crossbones kept the pain coming, which from the outside looking in made it seem like he had a death wish. Or at least that's what Misty thought, because Ross was getting hurt bad. But from the view of the reader, it really wasn't a secret as far as what's about to happen. Because after Crossbones puts the beat down on Thaddeus Ross, when he leaves, he tells Cutthroat to finish the job. So from there, Cutthroat steps in with the intention of torturing Ross even more, to the point of where he would eventually kill him, only for Thaddeus Ross to ask for even more. And so after many pages of what would seem to be a masochist's wet dream, all of this torture led to the awakening, or the rebirth, of the Red Hulk. And aside from this, not to go too deep into everything going on in Captain America Volume 9, because the return of the Red Hulk is not a huge part of the series, as it is for the return of Peggy Carter and Red Skull, but I do want to mention there was also this underlying concern that we were shown by way of different flashbacks and narration from Steve Rogers, where there was this question of if Thaddeus Ross could be trusted, or in other words, by going in to save him, are they doing the right thing? Well, when Thaddeus Ross hulked out, not only did this catch Steve and the others by surprise, but when Thaddeus leaped into the fight and quickly ended it for them, this confirmed that he was on their side. So after this, General Ross just returned to his position as a government official, which is something we would go on to see throughout the rest of Captain America Volume 9. So yeah, I really just wanted to jump in, do this video real quick, just so it could be something I can point back to on a later date, because the question often comes up anytime we talk about the Hulk, especially more recently with us getting Red Hulk in the MCU. So yeah, once again, just want to drop this in as a bit of a reference to get some of our coverage with General Ross caught up with everything else we're talking about. And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support. And for anyone who's new here, who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below where you can go to patreon.com/dopespill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts, down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.